What's up, Savages? I've missed you all. Been a busy couple weeks if you weren't in the stream earlier. So it is good to be back. I was looking forward to this one just to give my little take on Libra and kind of get it out there from a kind of a crypto mining perspective. Not that it has that much to do with crypto mining, because it doesn't, but I figured I would do a little spiel on it anyway. So it's good to be back live streaming, and like I said, I have a special one for you tonight. It's just going to be, pretty down and dirty here. If you're into crypto and value your privacy, I'm just going to get right into it, by the way. If you're into crypto and value your privacy, you probably hate Facebook as much as I do. But if you aren't taking notice of what's happening with Libra, and you're keeping a closed mind based on preconceived opinions about Facebook itself, you might miss out on a significant event in our small little crypto space. Facebook might have a bad reputation when it comes, and they do, have a bad reputation when it comes to user privacy and political agendas and bias and all those types of things, but that doesn't mean they're stupid. In fact, Libra isn't even Facebook's coin. It's a separate project, which is a little confusing for most people. It's a Swiss organization that Facebook will eventually be one of the 100 members of. So they're looking to get 100 members in the what's going to be called, or what is called, the Libra Association. Libra is an independent governing body, and if you think it won't have an impact on financial markets, you haven't done your homework, and you're missing the point. Think about this. If there are already congressional hearings being scheduled about Libra, and there are, if you've been paying attention to the news, then you can plainly see the potential impact. Even David Marcus, he's the Facebook executive leading the project, has been scheduled to testify before the Senate Banking Committee next week. Libra could drastically change the crypto and financial landscape when it comes to allowing open source distributed applications and e-commerce tools for users to manage their finances. There will even likely be a new rush of devs to build on top of Libra and Facebook using the brand new blockchain programming language that they are calling Move. And let's go ahead and pull up I'm going to go learn and then white paper here. Just kind of scroll through this a little bit here. I did read this version here. I think it's kind of there are links out to, the different categories and different things associated with Libra, but this is the official white paper, so this is what I was actually looking at. Libra's mission is to enable a simple global currency and financial infrastructure that empowers billions of people. 1.7 billion adults are currently unbanked, but 1 billion of those have smartphones, and another 500 million of those have internet access. So the goal would be to bring on board that 1.5 billion unbanked adults. When they officially revealed Libra on June 18th of this year, I was skeptical, to say the least. I felt like it would lack the fundamental properties of a real cryptocurrency and kind of go back to the whole Facebook credits and all that nonsense that they did a few years back. But I was wrong in a lot of ways. Libra appears to be more of a threat to the dollar than it is to any other crypto like Bitcoin or anything like that. And that's why you see government officials discussing it and actually calling for a moratorium on it, on the development, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy, but whatever. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm more excited about the visibility it brings to crypto more so than Libra itself. It's getting people talking, and one of the common questions is how is Bitcoin or other cryptos different than Libra? And if that's not a great leading question for powerful crypto conversation starters and things like that, I don't know what is. That's a great conversation starter. The reach and impact this will have could be enormous. People getting used to using crypto is an incredibly important move toward mass adoption initially, and of course you'll be able to easily, initially, and of course, you'll be able to easily send Libra from one user to another with very low transaction fees using the Calibra wallet. And some of this gets a little confusing because there's all these different components of this whole Libra ecosystem. Calibra is the wallet, Libra is the actual crypto, but basically you'll be able to send very low transaction fee using the Calibra wallet, Instagram, possibly WhatsApp, Facebook, and Messenger as well. Libra can also be used outside of those apps, and that can come in real handy because those apps, and whenever I say Libra can be used, I mean using the Calibra wallet. It doesn't have to be connected to Messenger or WhatsApp or Instagram or any of those Facebook platforms, right? So Libra can be used outside of those apps, and that can come in real handy because those apps, Facebook, Messenger, and all those, are blocked in some countries, right? Here in the U.S., we don't think about it in terms of, hey, I'm unbanked. There's really not that many unbanked people in the U.S., right? We pretty much all have a bank, and you got to think of third world countries where and you've seen it. You've seen videos of overseas of people that are basically homeless or living in a hut, but they've got a smartphone, right? So that's kind of what this is kind of targeting, right? Here it's kind of like crypto in general. Crypto in general in the U.S. it's hard to adopt because all of our currency is basically digital already. We've got credit cards, we've got online banking, all these different features because we're spoiled basically when it comes to that type of thing. So keep that in mind. We're not talking necessarily about just the United States. We're talking about the world, right? And all the different areas that are stressed when it comes to finances and things like that. So just keep that in mind. So let me see. Let me catch up to my notes here. It looks like you're going to be able to buy Libra with your local currency, and if you want to go back to fiat, this will be available in the app. It's also looking like you'll be able to pay for normal everyday stuff using Libra. It's likely that it'll be exchanged instantly into fiat in the app in an automated way for that purpose. Libra will initially be backed by a collection of low volatility assets such as bank deposits and short-term government securities in currencies from stable and reputable central banks such as the US dollar, euro, the Japanese yen, and the Great Britain pound, GBP. Now, since there's several low-risk assets backing Libra in what's called the Libra Reserve, that's what the assets are actually in, each with their own characteristics and ran by the completely separate non-profit Libra Association, and the possibility of other assets being added as backing in the future, Libra is not really a stable coin and will probably see some volatility. Let me repeat that. It's not technically a stable coin by strict definition, as many people, including myself, initially thought. It's not going to be pegged to a single non-volatile fiat asset, and the backing may eventually come from other assets traded on global markets with multiple quote rails such as gold and silver, or even cryptos like Bitcoin. It could, those assets could be included in the reserve. Basically, anything that's traded across the numerous global markets could be included in the basket of assets backing Libra. It's very likely Libra will also be traded on exchanges and may even have built-in insurance in the case of hacking losses and things like that. So that's actually, a bonus for the people that are worried about that type of thing. The Libra blockchain network is a 2-token proof-of-stake blockchain that mints Libra, the crypto itself, through masternode consensus and computing mechanisms using the Libra Byzantine fault tolerance, or Libra BFT, consensus algo. BFT algos are commonly used by other masternode cryptos as well. It'll also have the governance token called Libra Investment Token, or LIT, and the funds raised from the sale of LIT will be invested in assets, and the interest and profits will go to the Libra Association, which is the entities running the validator nodes. and we're going to get into the nodes in a minute. Libra is not actually a blockchain by usual definition, although it's in there. You can see it right there, actually, in their white paper. They talk about it, the Libra blockchain, but there's kind of a weird thing about that, and it uses system states. It kind of reminds me, I know I'm probably going to get slammed for this, but it kind of reminds me of Mimblewimble in a way, because it just uses system states and not actually a list of all transactions, right? It uses system states. Instead, the purpose of a ledger in permissionless networks is crucial, because that's what the nodes are all agreeing on, the content of the block transactions in a normal, proof of work type environment. Libra is a permissioned system, so it can use system states and Merkle trees instead of a list of all the transactions on the whole entire blockchain. Since the transactions are less likely to be overwritten in a permissioned system, and whenever we're talking about permission and unpermissioned, we're talking about whether or not you can run a node or not without being authorized on the network. Now, the network was developed by a Swiss foundation led by Facebook, and will support smart contract development. All these things are kind of like, whoa, kind of eye-opening for me, because again, initially I thought this is going to be garbage. It's going to be not really a crypto. It's going to be Facebook credits all over again. And come to find out, I was wrong. At least on some level, I was wrong. So it's going to support smart contract development. The BFT validator nodes are going to cost $10 million each, and they're going to be run by the 27 plus currently. Anyway, they have 27 plus Libra Association members, and the nodes will be dispersed across the globe for performance and fault tolerance, that's a good thing, right? Blockchain type stuff, or fault tolerance type stuff. It's looking like the yearly maintenance of a node is going to be a couple $1 million. So it's not like I'm going to run a node, not at this point. Facebook is looking to get 100 members total of the Libra Association, which will equal $1 billion in the end if they get 100 members. The consensus mechanism, the Libra BFT, is a variant of the Hot Stuff framework from VMware Research, and may even allow for some interoperability with other BFT chains. And I believe that Binance Chain could even be an integration point. So that's kind of exciting as well. Not that I'm excited about Libra as a whole, I'm not, but I do think that I think it's a plus for the space. I don't think that it's a negative. So not bullish on it, but not really bearish either, just kind of agnostic, I guess. The Libra network will support smart contracts, like I said before, and custom transactions written in a Libra-specific programming language called Move. Initially, these will be permissioned, peer-reviewed smart contracts, basically closed source to begin with. And one thing, let me finish this, to ensure stability and security of the network. And one thing to remember about this whole Libra thing is that initially, the way it's supposed to work anyway, after reading the white paper and some other content, is it's supposed to be permissioned, all closed source, basically initially. But over the course of about 5 years, it's supposed to turn into this permissionless, open source kind of thing. You can already build on it open source. I don't necessarily mean like the building on it part, but the nodes and things like that. It's supposed to move into a permissionless system, but we'll see. Let's see. So initially, these will be permissioned, peer-reviewed smart contracts. I already said that. There will be many pre-built contracts because there's going to be 100 members of the consortium, all building on the network already, testing things out and things like that. So it's not likely that they're going to run a node without being able to use it, right, for their own benefit. And that's why you're going to see that happening. So, but eventually, within 5 years, like I was saying earlier, the network is supposed to transition to a permissionless system, but we're not sure how that's going to work out. Libra Core is currently in testnet, and anyone can mess around with it. It's open source under the Apache 2.0 license, and that's referring to the Libra Core network itself, not being a node or anything like that. Within 1.5 years, Libra will be used in Messenger, WhatsApp, and Facebook itself. Well, it should probably say Messenger there. There will be ways of onboarding users into crypto, even the unbanked, which I mentioned earlier, without them ever even touching fiat or connecting to a bank account they may not even have. There's various ways of doing this. Sometimes it's a little bit hard for Americans to understand this, but there's various ways of doing this. One would be providing a service to a customer and being paid in Libra. So you would have the Calibra wallet on a smartphone, and you would accept Libra as a payment for some services that you provide. That's one way. You could also sell an item online and be paid in Libra. Okay, so that's like your on-ramp right there. The Calibra wallet will be the primary interface to the blockchain, and it sounds like, and this was kind of shocking because initially, everybody's thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to be tracking everything. They're going to be tracking everything. Talking about they being Facebook are going to be tracking everything that I buy and all that stuff. But it's supposed to be standalone. The wallet is a standalone app that's not inherently connected to Facebook. That was shocking to me. That was like, wow, I didn't think that they would do that. But again, remains to be seen. This is not developed, not fully developed yet, so we'll see where this all goes. They can't make the connection, but if you think about what I was saying earlier about the third world countries or the developing countries, they can't make the connection between Facebook and the Calibra wallet mandatory because even Facebook isn't even allowed in all countries, and they'd be cutting out a large portion of the potential Libra holders. So that is something to keep in mind. Libra is an attempt to instantly make a world currency available to billions of users that works alongside existing cryptocurrencies. A key to success will be on-ramps and off-ramps from and to fiat. And if they at least added privacy features, even if they are opt-in type privacy features, that would be huge. That would be huge. Since no one really knows what will happen, let's think about what could happen. Facebook and the association will want people to buy and use Libra, right? It's in their financial interest to do so. They will want to be trusted by their users, or at least you would think that they would. Zuckerberg has hinted around to users gaining their privacy back. In some conferences and some forums, he's mentioned that. So putting all this together, what if now, having said that, you got to remember that Facebook and Calibra and Facebook and Libra itself are actually supposed to be separate. But what if the end goal, the ultimate goal, is for Facebook to start protecting user data more in an effort to gain the trust of users so they would buy more Libra, right? Maybe even use a blockchain to allow you to control your own privacy. I know that people are probably laughing about this. It's hard for me to even say it with a straight face, but you never know. I mean, it could happen, right? And being able to hold your own keys basically for your own data and your own privacy. Think about it. If your private data is weaponized against you like it is now for the advertising and engagement model that we all live under, it's not likely that you'll trust the company attacking your privacy or using it against you. So they have a long way to go on that front, and I'm not really confident that they'll pull this off, to be honest. Plus, there is supposed to be separation between the social media at Facebook itself and the financial data, but we're gonna have to keep our eye on that to see if that's what actually happens in the end. It's going to be very interesting to find out. Something else that's likely to happen as far as the Facebook accounts go, there might be a way of using this to easily find botnets and shut down fake accounts and things like that in Facebook. If there is a link between Facebook and Calibra accounts, I think it'll probably be an option, right? Since the Calibra wallet is going to require KYC AML, it's going to require government issued ID for Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering. So that's going to be kind of huge. I mean, it's going to be kind of, for some people, it's not going to like that, but That could be a little side bonus of that, could be no more catfishing. However, the Libra protocol itself and the use of the blockchain will not require KYC AML. Just the protocol itself is not going to require it, but the Libra wallet looks like it will. Let's see here. Users can create multiple accounts that are not linked to each other, and that's referring to on the protocol level, not in the wallet. I don't believe anyway. To summarize all this long drawn out me rambling on, I don't really like Facebook or Libra, but I'm confident that it'll at least start more conversations that can lead to a person learning about truly decentralized and private cryptocurrencies such as Conceal, Swap, or Grin, or now Arrow, things like that. You can even argue that if the learning curve is flattened out a bit and people are seeing Libra in their Facebook, or Libra, they're being hit with ads for downloading the Libra wallet and how it all works, and maybe even some guides to cryptocurrency and things like that just show up. If that learning curve is flattened out a bit and the onboarding process is much simpler, you could see a more accelerated crypto mass adoption with Libra than without it. And that's kind of where I'm coming from. But if the feds end up affecting the development in any way whatsoever, then Libra will not be something I support. If they are able to affect it in any way. Now, I get it. I get that they being Facebook and the Libra Association needs to work with regulators and lawmakers and all that stuff in order to make this really function and work across the entire globe. And they have to work with all the different companies, all the different regulations. I get it. But if there is stifling and like, hey, you're not going to do this and that kind of thing going on, then that's going to be our sign, in my opinion, that's going to be our sign to not get involved in it. Because if the government can manipulate it in any way, then that's going to be the end of it, for me anyway. That's just me. But I do believe it's smart for them to put into the white paper that they intend to work with regulators and financial sector experts to stand up a reliable and sustainable system. But if those entities somehow affect the actual crypto development, like I was saying, I don't believe that'll be a good thing. Also, it's not mineable. So from a crypto miner's perspective, Libra is a non-issue, but may help with the crypto adoption in many ways. And that's my 2 savage Satoshis on the matter. Tell me what you think, what you all think in the chat and in the comments. And if you're watching this video live after the fact, or if you're not watching the video live, you're watching it after the fact, let me check the chat, see who we got in here. What's up, Surfing? All right. So until next time, I appreciate you guys hanging out. I want you to all stay savage and all that stuff. I might even be back in a few minutes with another video because I've got some catching up to do because I was gone for a week. So we'll see what happens. I will see you guys in the next one. Stay savage.